Tonight, Marketplace like you've never seen it before.
The tumor fell on the floor.
Yes.
I fully believe it.
It's a sham, it's a bogus treatment.
What only Marketplace will tell you about a mysterious machine.
Very popular. It's actually booming.
Stories of medical miracles.
We've had cancer clients, we've had Parkinson clients.
And of the miracle that didn't happen.
She really believed deeply in her heart that somehow she was going to beat this cancer.
Meet the inventor, taking in the profits.
What is this?
My large closet.
Oh my goodness.
And now, taking our questions.
I am completely cognizant that you will twist this entire interview.
Canada's most watched consumer show, Marketplace, starts now. We've come halfway around the world to Hungary to try to get to the bottom of a mysterious medical machine that's sweeping Canada. We want to know why so many Canadians are putting their faith, their health, and their money in a miracle device. And in the hands of the controversial inventor who lives here. What's the device that's got Canadians spending so much money? It's got a name as intriguing as its health claims, the EPFX, Electrophysiological Feedback Zeroid. And how's it work? Apparently it zaps you with low-level energy to help everything from Alzheimer's to autism. For a price, of course, about $20,000, but plenty of Canadians are putting their money down. The brains behind it all? Bill Nelson, a man who made a movie about his brilliant invention, starring himself.
I'd gone to Budapest, where in Budapest I was able to do research.
The movie's plot, based on Nelson's own life. Misunderstood natural healer flees North America from big bad drug companies and misinformed health regulators. And that's not where the drama ends. Nelson shows up at European conferences as his alter ego, Desiree Dubonnet, and spreads the word in high heels. Though, as we enter Bill Nelson's headquarters in Budapest, we're not exactly sure who's going to meet us.
Hello.
Hello.
Erica. We finally meet. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I have to ask.
But
I was expecting
of course
Bill
you have
Nelson.
to ask.
Is this your alter ego today?
No, this is me all the time.
It is.
No, for the last about 8 years, I've become Desiree Dubonnet.
Nelson gives us a tour of the building he owns. There's a film studio.
But this is where we shoot a lot of my lectures. This is just for my skirts.
An enormous wardrobe.
What is this?
My large closet. This is for my dresses and shirts.
Oh my goodness. It just goes on and on. Holy cow.
And then that little machine that makes him big money. All the while, his own camera crew follows us everywhere. He says that's to make sure we report the truth.
What is this a map of?
The red light is us, and the blue lights are distributors around the world. So you ask where we ship.
Right. So they go, your machines go to all of these.
Yes.
Is the distributor Vancouver, is that, what's the next city? Calgary?
Victoria, Calgary, Toronto.
Nelson claims he sells Canadians 40 machines every month. At 20 grand each, that's $800,000 worth.
You have a huge following, and people who talk about you call you a genius.
I believe that's true.
You're a genius.
Well, I was a member of Mensa. My IQ is very, very high. As a kid, I was called Wunderkinder, the German word for, high intelligent child.
And the Genius's machine? It's for sale in our own backyard at this Vancouver fair, right next to some other miraculous products.
It's made for set in stains.
It cleans, conditions, and waterproofs all in one shot.
But this is no flash in the pan. This is a medical device that's been reviewed and licensed by Health Canada. We're told it's good for everything: anti-aging, treating Alzheimer's, ear glue, hepatitis, Parkinson's. This woman used the machine for her aunt's ovarian cancer.
Do you think the biofeedback machine helped bring her back to health?
Oh yeah, I fully believe it.
And people do believe. Canadians are paying big money for an EPFX session. Where? At alternative health clinics, and chiropractor and massage therapists' offices. Even buying the machine themselves to see clients at home.
And is it very popular?
Right now, yes, very popular. It's actually booming.
So what does the inventor say it treats?
Well, the least successful disease that we explored was acne. The machine seemed to have no effect on acne.
Okay. What about all these other diseases?
But the one that it had greatest was cancer.
Cancer? Quite the claim. That was enough for a woman in Washington State to buy in. She believed all Nelson's hype.
Hello.
Hi, Al.
Yeah,
Erica
hi.
Johnson. Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
Al Bergstein's wife ordered an EPFX from Victoria, BC. Karen Macbeth spent almost $20,000 for a glimmer of hope. She had bone cancer.
She really believed deeply in her heart that somehow she was going to beat this cancer, and she was going to be a model for people on how to beat the cancer.
What was she told this device could do for her?
Well, I was in the room when they told her at one point that it could heal her, and the device made the claim that it was actually healing you of the cancer.
As Karen got sicker, it became clear to her Nelson's machine wasn't going to work a miracle.
I did find her at one point sort of crying and yelling over the phone at somebody about, "You told me this was going to work and it doesn't, and how could you do this type of thing?" So she knew that it hadn't worked. She finally got to a point where she understood that it wasn't real.
After U.S. health regulators heard about Karen's case and others, they clamped down on Nelson's machine. They tell us it's not allowed to be imported to the U.S. anymore because of unsubstantiated medical claims that cause it to be fraudulent and deceptive. Here in Canada, no such action. But Nelson's machine is licensed for one thing, and one thing only: to reduce stress. So, how's it really pitched here? To find out, we go undercover with a hidden camera in Toronto to a clinic that offers EPFX sessions. And we bring a man with cancer to help us out.
Because I have prostate cancer. Okay. So, I don't know what this does for me or how it can do anything for me.
Our appointment's with John Sargent. And guess what? He tells us he's so close to Bill Nelson, they talk every day.
He's my professor. I'm one of his two proteges in all the world.
Who is this guy?
He's the inventor of the EPFX, right? He's quite an amazing individual. I can give you.
Just as amazing what he tells us Nelson's invention can do for about $200 a session.
Have you ever had anybody with prostate cancer that you've treated, or is it?
I have had people with prostate cancer.
And just listen, he's got good news about their cancer.
They've mysteriously gone away according to the medical system.
In fact, he's got good news about all kinds of diseases.
We've had cancer clients, we've had Parkinson's clients, we've had AIDS clients, we've had Alzheimer's clients, we've had autism clients. We've had the hardest of the hard of the uncurables, and magically they disappear.
With so much success, no wonder Sargent plans to expand, create 250 franchises to put even more of Nelson's machines into Canadian homes and clinics. With that much on the line, he's careful not to exactly claim he's cured anything.
So I'm trying to stay within my language, right? It's the first time I've ever met you. You got to understand, I'm coming from an angle I don't know who you are,
right?
And you could be Health Canada in my office right now, trying to catch me in a trap because I'm helping people get better.
Is it hard to hear that this person with cancer is being told that it might magically disappear?
Of course. I mean, it's always hard to hear when people that are the most vulnerable people in our society are being told that they can, if you only give me some money, I can cure your whatever. You put a name after whatever it might be.
Back in Hungary, Bill Nelson, or Desiree Dubonnet, doesn't hold back either. He claims his machine does much more than relieve stress.
If you're actually curing potentially fatal diseases, Why aren't you being recognized by hospitals and medical centers worldwide?
Because drug companies control medicine.
That's it? It's not because they don't believe in the science?
No, the science is there.
So we decide to test some of that science. I sign up to be a guinea pig. We ask one of Bill Nelson's followers to bring her $20,000 machine here to a biomedical lab at the University of Toronto.
There's so many layers with this program. And I mean, Professor Nelson that developed the program, an absolute genius, a genius. And I mean, when you get the results, that says it all. That says it all.
Sandra Shreve's a true believer. She's been earning money offering EPFX sessions for almost 2 years.
Okay, looks good.
And we get a biomedical engineer to conduct our test. Milos Popovich isn't allowed to plug into the device, so he puts his own electrodes next to the straps of the EPFX to record how much energy is coming out of the machine.
Everything is fine? You're measuring okay? Yes. Okay, so let's go.
When we come back, we get our test results and push for the truth with the machine's inventor.
I mean, if that's true, you're not just an inventor, you're a savior. You're the man who's cured cancer.
And later, our interview takes a bizarre turn.
Let me talk to the only camera that's going to show anything.
Okay.
Let me talk to the only camera that's going to tell the story.
We're testing a so-called miracle machine at a biomedical lab to see if it actually delivers the incredible claims of inventor Bill Nelson.
One of the things the machine does is when it finds cancer frequencies, that there's a different energy to the cancer cells, it can attack that energy.
I'm hooked up to Nelson's device, the EPFX. Our test begins with a series of questions.
The number of major injuries that you would have had in a lifetime?
One broken arm.
Within minutes, the device has apparently interpreted thousands of my reactions to tiny electrical impulses coming from the box.
And what were those areas I responded highly to?
Okay, there were 2.
Then the machine supposedly zaps energy to boost my immune system and a host of other things. Remember, we've asked biomedical engineer Milos Popovich to measure those pulses.
That's it? These little marks are the
These
pulses?
little green marks are actually the pulses that we have recorded.
Our test results are in.
The proof is not there.
When the device was zapping me with energy, doing what inventor Bill Nelson calls deep tissue interface, how much energy was coming out?
The pulses were about 5 millivolts.
Is that a lot?
That's almost nothing.
How much of an effect could a signal that low have on the body?
In my opinion, this signal has no effect whatsoever on the body.
Popovich says I could be zapped all day. In other words, it's harmless.
Yes.
So we ask inventor Bill Nelson for solid scientific research, specifically about his device, proving its effectiveness. What does he give us? Lots of related scientific material, but it seems only one study is actually about how the EPFX treats diseases.
Here's the portion you sent on cancer, and some of the stories in here are incredible.
Thing is, this study isn't based on scientific research. It's just testimonials from clients who've used his device.
This is a woman with a tumor in her breast.
Oh no, this is a different one.
5 sessions and it's gone. A 44-year-old woman has a brain tumor. 5 sessions and her brain tumor disappears.
This is reported.
There's a story of an 8-year-old girl who had an inoperable brain tumor. She only had a few sessions on this.
That girl came from Sweden, and her medical doctors had given up on her. And we treated her and went back, and she's fine.
Her brain tumor disappeared. It's hard to believe.
Yep, the claims are astonishing. Like the woman whose cancerous tumor falls off her arm in the middle of a grocery store.
And she's walking in the market, out comes the tumor, and all of the tentacles, because the tentacles of the tumor went up and down the spine, and it came out, fell on the floor, smashed.
Oh, the tumor fell on the floor?
Yes.
After treatment
Yes,
with your device.
Exactly. So then she lost blood. The emergency people came. They took her to the hospital, sewed her up, got blood in her, and all the cancer is gone.
Well, but that doesn't sound believable. That sounds like science fiction.
I'm telling you the story.
According to the study, 2,000 people were cured of cancer after using your device.
That's what was reported.
2,000 people?
That's what was reported.
Hard to believe.
You've seen pictures. We showed you pictures, right, in the testimonial files.
Yeah.
Before and after.
I mean, if that's true, you're not just an inventor. You're a savior. You're the man who's cured cancer.
Well, I don't know about curing, but I think I've helped.
2,000
know.
of them got cured.
I know.
Remember, Bill Nelson's $20,000 medical device is being sold across Canada, which is why we keep looking for evidence that it works. We head to McMaster University in Hamilton and show Nelson's study to oncologist Dr. Stephen Sager, complete with photos of cancer that's supposedly cured.
This is the scab falling off a tumour. There's still cancer left behind. And yet they claim that this is a complete cure. Yet you can actually see that this is cancer lying beneath that scab. It's got a raised edge and all the signs of residual cancer. But they claim because that scab fell off that the patient was cured.
Sager's not impressed.
The studies are written at the level of probably grade 5. They really have no scientific credibility whatsoever, and they wouldn't have any hope in publishing these studies in any credible scientific journal. It's a sham, it's a bogus treatment, and apart from the distress it's going to cause patients, in some cases it may actually prevent them from having early conventional and effective cancer treatment on time, in which case their cancer could progress and they could actually die from their cancer, whereas they could have been cured earlier.
And get this, never mind curing cancer, Nelson's device is only licensed to reduce stress as something called a biofeedback device. But experts tell us it doesn't sound like standard biofeedback either. So why is Health Canada allowing it here? Coming up, tough questions for Bill Nelson. And he's got a message for Canadians.
Is there a part of you that feels bad that you're misleading people?
There's a part of me that feels bad that the Canadian people are being deceived.
We're in Hungary trying to get answers about a medical device that inventor Bill Nelson says Canada is buying into. Remember, Nelson's machine is licensed by Health Canada. And what does Dr. Stephen Sager say about it?
It's a sham, it's a bogus treatment.
What he's saying is there's no evidence this device can help cancer patients.
Now,
Duh? Why duh?
There's evidence.
What's the evidence?
There's profound evidence. I've quoted it to you.
But these are testimonials from people, right? These are people who said they went on the device and then got cured.
I didn't say that there's proof, because now in terms of science, one study doesn't constitute proof.
This study is being held out as evidence the device can help people.
Exactly. Now, what I'm saying is that in their world, they have to refute this, or else his entire training of only knowing pharmaceuticals and surgery, that's all he knows. And as soon as somebody says volts and amps to him, he's lost.
But our next question puts Nelson over the edge.
Is there a part of you that feels bad that you're misleading people?
There's a part of me that feels bad that the Canadian people are being deceived, and that somebody has employed a wacko.
I'm sorry,
let me talk to the only camera that's going to show anything.
Okay.
Let me talk to the only camera that's going to tell the story. The only place that they're going to see the truth. Get on the internet. Look at this yourself. Look at this yourself, people.
Well, why are you saying...
Find out
why are you
what is
angry
really going on
when I'm just
here.
asking for scientific evidence?
Because you keep saying that it's not a peer-reviewed journal. It is a peer-reviewed medical journal. You keep saying all this stuff that it's not this and not that. You have twisted everything, as I am completely cognizant that you will twist this entire interview.
I'm not twisting it. I'm just asking you for some evidence that your device works. People are basing their health, putting it in your hands because they believe your device works.
Nelson has an explanation for everything, including why the media won't tell a positive story about his device. Says we're influenced by Big Pharma. And why does he live in Hungary? Nelson says it's part of another conspiracy. The truth is, he's facing charges in the U.S. on mail fraud related to his device. We contact Health Canada repeatedly about Nelson's machine, but they refuse to give us an interview. So we faxed them Dr. Sager's criticisms and some questionable science from the inventor.
The bottom line is that this is a large marketing sham which gets cancer patients who are suffering to believe that there is a system here that can cure their cancer without giving them any side effects, and that's just not true.
But Nelson won't even admit he markets his invention.
So when I get up in front of a room full of people, number one, I never sell anything. I tell the stories. And I'm very...
Isn't that selling something if you get up and say, my device cured cancer?
But that's how everybody else does it, honey. That's how everybody else sells devices.
Now, can you restart 64-year-old guy?
We can help restart anybody.
And so in big city clinics and small town basements across Canada, the pitch goes on. And the sick still put their faith, their health, and their money in the hands of Bill Nelson and his miracle machine. Next week on Marketplace, tough times, a fast fix,
imagine life without limits,
a plan to get you rich quick.
And they literally called it sleeping money. Money coming in while you're sleeping.
And all over Canada, people are buying in.
That's not fair. We've got to stop this.
Find out why some of them want it shut down.
The whole thing has been absolutely a nightmare from beginning to end.
Wendy Mesley has a story about money that might not be so easy.
It's a threat.
Get what only Marketplace will tell you every Friday night on CBC.